In the heart of the dense tropical rainforest, where the mighty river snaked its way through lush vegetation, there lived a variety of animals, each with its own place in the ecosystem. Among them were the feared and revered crocodilians, particularly the massive and powerful saltwater crocodile. These ancient creatures ruled the river with a mixture of terror and respect from the other inhabitants. At the apex of this hierarchy was a legendary crocodile known as Krogan, the River King. Tales of Krogan's size, strength, and ferocity were whispered among the jungle's creatures. It was said that he was invincible and that his territory stretched far and wide along the riverbank. But, as with all legends, there was an air of mystery and fear that surrounded him. Meanwhile, in a quieter part of the river lived a smaller, seemingly less significant crocodile named Bengo. Bengo was often overlooked and underestimated by others due to his more modest size and unassuming nature. He kept to himself, preferring solitude over confrontation, and was largely ignored by the river community. One day, a newcomer arrived, a young and ambitious crocodile named Zara. Unlike Bengo, Zara was bold and assertive, eager to make a name for herself. She had heard the stories of Krogan and was determined to challenge the River King and claim his throne. Her journey to the heart of Krogan's territory was fraught with danger, but Zara was undeterred. As Zara made her way through the river, she encountered Bengo, who was sunning himself on a quiet riverbank. She scoffed at him, seeing him as no threat. "Out of my way, weakling," Zara snarled. "I have a king to dethrone." Bengo, used to such dismissive treatment, simply nodded and moved aside. But as Zara continued on her path, Bengo's eyes followed her with an unusual intensity. Zara's journey took her deep into the heart of the rainforest, where the river widened and the underbrush grew thick and foreboding. She knew she was entering Krogan's territory when she saw the signs: trees marked with deep claw marks, large swathes of disturbed mud, and the occasional, unsettling silence broken only by distant roars. Finally, Zara arrived at a wide bend in the river, a place known to the jungle's inhabitants as the Crocodile's Throne. It was here that Krogan was said to hold court, and sure enough, there he was, basking in the sun with an air of absolute dominance. Krogan was a sight to behold, immense, scarred from countless battles, and with eyes that seemed to pierce right through to one's soul. Zara felt a flicker of fear but quickly suppressed it. She had come too far to back down now. "I am Zara, and I challenge you for the throne of the river," she bellowed, her voice echoing across the water. Krogan lifted his massive head, his eyes locking onto Zara. For a moment, the entire jungle seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, Krogan slid into the water, moving towards Zara with a menacing grace. The battle that ensued was fierce and brutal. Zara fought with all her might, but Krogan's strength and experience were overwhelming. As the clash reached its climax, Krogan struck a decisive blow, leaving Zara battered and defeated. "You are not worthy," that Krogan growled, his voice low and thunderous. "Leave my territory and never return." Humiliated and in pain, Zara had no choice but to retreat. As she limped away, she could feel the eyes of the jungle upon her, watching her shame. But amidst the shadows, another pair of eyes watched with a different kind of interest, Bengo's. As Zara nursed her wounds and her pride, she couldn't shake the memory of her defeat. The humiliation burned within her, but it also fueled her determination. She couldn't let Krogan's dominance go unchallenged, but she realized she needed a different approach, one that wouldn't rely solely on brute strength. One evening, as she rested on a secluded riverbank, she was startled by a rustling in the bushes. Bengo emerged, his eyes calm and calculating. "Zara," he said quietly, "I saw your challenge. You were brave, but Krogan is not just a brute. He's clever and experienced. If you want to defeat him, you need more than just strength." Zara eyed him warily. "What do you know about it, Bengo? You're no warrior." Bengo smiled faintly. "No, I'm not, but I know Krogan, and I know his weaknesses." Intrigued but skeptical, Zara listened as Bengo revealed his knowledge of the River King. He spoke of Krogan's habits, his patterns, and his past. Bengo had spent years observing from the shadows, unnoticed and underestimated. "There's a spot," Bengo explained, "a narrow inlet near the eastern bank. Krogan often goes there alone to rest. It's the perfect place for an ambush. But you'll need more than just me. You'll need allies." Reluctantly, Zara agreed to Bengo's plan. Together, they began to recruit other crocodiles who had their own grievances against Krogan. These were smaller, weaker crocodiles who had been marginalized and bullied by the River King. Under Bengo's strategic guidance, they formed a coalition, ready to strike. The coalition moved with careful precision, each crocodile playing their part in the intricate plan Bengo had laid out. Zara was impressed by Bengo's strategic mind, though she remained wary of his quiet confidence. As dawn broke on the day of the ambush, the crocodiles took their positions. The narrow inlet was still and serene, the perfect setting for their trap. Bengo, Zara, and their allies waited, hidden among the reeds and underbrush. Krogan appeared as expected, his massive form gliding through the water with an air of unchallenged authority. He settled into the inlet, unaware of the danger lurking around him. At Bengo's signal, the ambush was sprung. Zara led the charge, her heart pounding with adrenaline and determination. The battle was fierce and chaotic, but this time, Krogan was taken by surprise. The sheer number of attackers overwhelmed him, and despite his formidable strength, he began to falter. In the midst of the chaos, Zara noticed something strange. Bengo was not engaging Krogan directly. Instead, he was directing the others, his eyes never leaving the River King. It was as if Bengo was waiting for something. Finally, as Krogan grew weaker, Bengo made his move. He slipped through the throng of battling crocodiles and approached Krogan from behind. With a swift, precise motion, Bengo struck, delivering a blow to Krogan's vulnerable side. The mighty River King roared in pain and anger, but it was too late. The ambush had succeeded. Krogan, bloodied and defeated, collapsed into the water. The coalition of crocodiles surrounded him, their eyes filled with a mix of triumph and relief. But as Zara approached to deliver the final blow, Bengo stepped in front of her. "No," he said firmly, "this is my victory." Zara stared at him, realization dawning. Bengo, the unassuming and underestimated crocodile, had orchestrated the entire plan not just to dethrone Krogan, but to claim the throne for himself. The jungle buzzed with the news of Krogan's defeat. The once invincible River King had been brought down, and a new leader had emerged from the shadows. Bengo, the quiet observer, had revealed his true nature and intentions. As Bengo stood before the assembled crocodiles, he declared his rule. "I am Bengo, the new king of the river. Under my leadership, we will have peace and prosperity. No more tyranny, no more fear." The crocodiles, weary of Krogan's brutal reign, accepted Bengo's leadership with a mix of trepidation and hope. Zara, though initially resentful of being used in Bengo's plan, couldn't deny the effectiveness of his strategy. She approached Bengo privately. "You planned this all along," Zara said, a hint of accusation in her voice. Bengo nodded. "Krogan's rule was brutal, and I knew brute strength alone wouldn't dethrone him. I needed to unite the others and use strategy. I needed you to believe you could challenge him directly so that the plan would work." Zara sighed, recognizing the truth in his words. "What now, Bengo? What kind of king will you be?" Bengo's eyes softened. "A wise and just one, I hope. I've seen the suffering Krogan caused. I want to build a community where we can all thrive." Under Bengo's rule, the river began to change. He implemented fairer practices and worked to ensure that all crocodiles, regardless of size or strength, had a place in the ecosystem. Zara, despite her initial distrust, became one of his closest advisors, helping to maintain the balance of power. The legend of Krogan, the feared River King, slowly faded into history, replaced by tales of Bengo, the cunning and wise ruler who brought peace to the jungle. Bengo's reign marked a new era, one of unexpected alliances and a redefined sense of strength and leadership.